Hey there, and welcome to today's episode of I Simplified It, on where we break down the challenges of small businesses and entrepreneurs, as well as nonprofit founders. What we face, we give you real actionable strategies to overcome them. I'm your host, Morgan Stroud, and if you're a government contractor or thinking about becoming one, you need to hear this. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest risks that come with government contracting, and it's contract terminations and government shutdowns. Now, I know that may sound like a dry topic, but let me tell you, this is about your revenue, your business stability, and your ability to move forward when things get tough. Government contracts can be incredibly lucrative, but they come with risks that private sector work doesn't have. What happens if your contract gets terminated for convenience? What if a government shutdown halts your payments? If you're not prepared, these situations can derail your business overnight. So today, I'm walking you through what termination of convenience actually means and how it impacts you, how a government shutdown affects contracts and payments, the steps you can take right now to protect your business from financial loss, and smart strategies to keep cash flow steady even when uncertainty hits. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear roadmap for navigating these challenges like a pro. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with termination of convenience, or T for C. This is a clause in government contracts that allows the government to cancel your contract at any time for any reason with no fault on your part. Sounds unfair, right? But it's standard policy. The government builds this flexibility into contracts so they can shift priorities, reallocate funds, or even just decide they don't need the work anymore. So, what happens if your contract gets terminated? Here's what you need to know: you can still get paid for work already completed. That's number one, because the government typically reimburses you for all your work done up until the termination date. This includes any materials or expenses you've incurred as part of fulfilling the contract. Number two, you may receive reasonable settlement costs. If shutting down operations or canceling subcontracts costs you money, you can request reimbursement. But here's the catch: you must have detailed records of these costs. Number three, you won't get paid for lost profits. So, unlike private sector contracts, where you might sue for damages, the government doesn't compensate you for potential profits you would have made. So, how do you protect yourself from financial damage if your contract is terminated? Well, this is what we'll do. We will read your contract terms carefully. Before you even sign, understand what a T for C clause means for your business. If anything is unclear, consult a legal expert. Next, you want to keep meticulous records. Track every single dollar spent on the contract so you can justify your final payments. And lastly, diversify your revenue streams. Diversify your revenue. You don't rely solely on government contracts. Always have private sector or alternative income streams in place. Think of it as a termination isn't the end of your business if you're prepared. Now let's talk about something that makes every government contractor sweat: a government shutdown. A shutdown happens when Congress fails to pass a federal budget or continuing resolution. When that happens, funding stops. Non-essential agencies close, and many government contracts are put on hold. Here's what that means for you as a contractor. If your contract is fully funded, you're in a better position. Some contracts remain active because the money has already been allocated. However, you still need to check with your contracting officer to confirm. If your contract isn't funded, expect delays. Many contracts are temporarily suspended. Work stops, and so does your pay. Federal employees may stop working, but contractors might not. Some agencies allow contractors to continue working, but payments could be delayed. So how do you sustain your business during a shutdown? Here's what to do. Assess your cash flow. Do you have enough reserves to cover 30 to 60 days of operating expenses? If not, now's the time to build that cushion. Communicate with your contracting officer. Ask about shutdown contingency plans. Will you be paid later, or should you stop work? Get clarity up front. Seek alternative work. Look for state or local government contracts, or pivot to private sector clients. Explore SBA assistance. The Small Business Administration often offers emergency funding or bridge loans for businesses affected by shutdowns. A government shutdown doesn't have to sink your business, but you must prepare before it happens. Let's wrap up with some big picture strategies to keep your business strong no matter what happens. First, there's scenario planning. Always have a contingency plan for lost contracts or delayed payments. So what's your backup revenue source? Next, you want to build relationships with multiple agencies. The more government clients you have, the less vulnerable you are to individual shutdowns or terminations. Then you want to stay updated on policy changes. Subscribe to contracting news, join industry groups, and stay informed about federal budget talks. And lastly, legal and financial support. Have a lawyer or consultant who understands government contracts. The right expert can save you thousands of dollars in lost payments. The key takeaway here: be proactive, not reactive. All right, you guys, we've covered a lot in such a little tiny space, a little tiny bit of time about government contracting. It comes with incredible opportunities, but also serious risks. The businesses that thrive are the ones that prepare, stay informed, and diversify their income streams. And then the three key takeaways: know your contract terms and protect your rights. Have a cash flow safety net to handle shutdowns, and build a business that isn't 100% dependent on government work. If today's episode was helpful, be sure to subscribe and share. with your fellow business owners, entrepreneurs, nonprofit founders, the whole kit and caboodle. And if you need help building a strong contracting strategy, whether it's with the government or private sector or collaborations, check out Simplified VA. We help small businesses like yours stay competitive, compliant, and ready for anything. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time on I Simplified It. Morgan out.